Yeah, stop reading.
All right. And the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee, and the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. Man, that really is talking about like the complete and utter annihilation of Babylon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I think it's interesting. A candle will not be seen in the.
Yeah.
And remember, it says a city set on a hill that cannot be hid.
Yeah.
The Bible says, well, it's going to be hidden. That's what you can't. You won't be able to see it.
Yeah. So, wow. All right. uh,
I'm surprised he doesn't. Well, see, he told the Israelites that the destruction of Jerusalem would be so bad that the people around it would hiss
oh,
as they walk back by. And uh, but anyway,
all right. Again, using my translation and the voice of harpers and uh, minstrels and flute players and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee. You see, rock music will go out of style then, and thank God for that rock.
oh, yeah, he is. Well, he's not a big fan of Christian music either.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Him and Cecil will get along great. Other than Cecil, well, anyway.
All right.
He would use big words, and Cecil would be like, "What are you talking about?" He'd bring him into check.
All right. And no craftsman of whatsoever craft shall be found any more at all in thee, and or all the factories will close down, and the light of a lamp shall shine no more at all in thee. All the neon lights on Broadway will go out.
Who
And
puts a lamp or a light under a bushel?
mhm.
But so anyway, again, this is reminding me we're talking about other passages.
Yes. And the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. It's all over. No more marrying and giving in marriage here. For thy merchants were the princes of the earth, for with thy sorcery were all the nations deceived. I believe that more and more we are going to see sorcery, magic, and demonism.
Mm.
Well, ain't that the truth? I mean, heck, you can watch anything on TV, movies, TV shows. I mean, they all seem to be, especially kids stuff, really seem to be focused around magic and things like that. And it seems more prevalent in almost all cartoons these days. I mean, it's gotten crazy, and they do it in such a way that it makes it seem innocent. So, like one of the movies that I used to love was the Medea movies.
Oh yeah,
The Medea's, the J, all those Medea movies. I used to love those movies, and then I realized that the whole him dressing up as a woman and
oh
acting
yeah,
like a woman and things like that,
right,
that goes directly against what the Bible talks about. And there was a whole lot of things that
right,
falls into and desensitizing. I mean, that should not be allowed. That should not be okay. You should not be doing that.
right,
And
right.
so, but I didn't even think of it. My mom, who is, she's the one that raised me on the altar and taught me how to pray and taught me all these Bible verses. She's the one that showed me Medea, and she thought it was funny until she realized the same thing.
Right, right. Well, it was comedy.
Hmm.
It's kind of like blackface used to be comedy,
Hmm.
and so
Yes.
they would probably consider Medea an insult, though,
Mhm.
to their cause.
True. Well, yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
I guess I don't know. Like, yes and no, but I mean,
That's like what I'm saying is that like that's like somebody wearing blackface.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, but at the same time, it desensitizes people to seeing men dress up as women.
I
and
know
act
that
like
they
women.
tried to use against JD Vance where that he dressed up for a Halloween party.
Oh, yeah.
All and that sort of stuff.
We all have our mistakes.
Well, I used to dress up as a witch when I was a kid. You're really talking about me. Desensitized.
Fair enough.
When my kids came along, I dressed them up as princesses, heroes. The Tim was a buccaneer. But yeah, I guess we have to take. We don't think about those things.
Yeah. Let's see. I lost my place completely, actually.
They've been after sorcery and
Yeah. Merchants.
we worked down there.
Cringe. Getting marriage.
Oh, okay. The last paragraph,
Magic.
on the left hand side.
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah. And demonism. Satanism will increase more and more as we draw near the end of the age. It will be Satan who is going to deceive and blind people just as he blinds many in our day.
Okay.
Popular music. Do you like? Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
Okay.
Popular music comes to an end in Babylon. Jazz and rock and roll cease in the destruction. Classical music will be stilled also. The crafts that have been prostituted to the service of the Antichrist will end. The wheels of the factories will never turn again. The bright lights of the cities will go out forever. It will be interesting to note that the beginning of all these things, as recorded in Genesis 4:16 through 22, also social life and family life shall end. The great tycoons of big business will disappear. This city deceived the world with the worship of Antichrist. This is the strong delusion. All right, and then on to 24.
Verse 24.
In her found the blood of prophets and the saints, and all of that were slain upon the earth. Revelations 18:24. All right. God's people got rough treatment in this city, and God judged it. This is Satan's city, and he was a murderer from the beginning. Babylon was a city that murdered. Its final crime was the slaying of God's people. As we contemplate the destruction of Babylon, we think of other great cities and civilizations of the past which have fallen. One of the most widely read books of all time is The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, written by Edward Gibbon in 1788. It was given 5 basic reasons why the great civilization withered and died. Number one, getting it this time. Number one, the undermining of the dignity and sanctity of the home, which is the basis for human society. Number two, higher and higher taxes, the spending of public money for free bread and circuses
Yes.
for the populace. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, number three, the mad craze for pleasure sports becoming every year more exciting, more brutal, and more immoral. Makes sense. Number four, the building of great armaments when the real enemy was within, the decay of individual responsibility. Number five, the decay of religion, faith fading into mere form, losing touch with life, losing power to guide the people. The oft heard warning that history repeats itself has an ominous meaning in the light of the above. We can already see these 5 things at work in our contemporary culture in this country. Yes, the same things will bring Babylon down at the end. They destroy the nation and the home and the individual. Thank God the sad story of man's sin will come to an end. This chapter.
Okay. And that concludes the section verse 22 through 24. And now we'll move it on to a section he entitled Review, where it looks like J. Vernon McGee one day comes back and decides to review. We're up to where we are at this point. And so I guess you can go on. I wasn't going to talk about this, but that's all right. Maybe I'll take a picture and put it on Facebook.
Okay. All right. This chapter brings to a conclusion the frightful period which was labeled by the Lord Jesus Christ the Great Tribulation. In the next chapter, we will see him coming to the earth to bring to an end this dark, doleful, and disastrous period. This is the negative aspect to his coming. The positive side is the dawning of the day of the Lord, called the millennium or 1,000 years in chapter 20. Now let's take a final look at the Great Tribulation period with its catastrophic and cataclysmic events taking place in rapid succession like a machine gun firing. The total period is 7 years. It is the 70th week of Daniel's prophecy in the Old Testament. Daniel divided it. And in the New Testament, John divided it into two separate equal periods of 3 and 1.5 years each. However, after the church leaves this earth, the Antichrist comes to power as world dictator on a platform of peace, prosperity, and fame. During the first part of the tribulation, he will bring about radical changes that seem to benefit mankind. He will bring in a false peace. All government uh, and religion are to be controlled by him. When that time comes, there will be one world, one religion, and one everything. The world will believe that they are entering the millennium and that the world will become a utopia. This is part of the big lie of that period. The truth church, the body of Christ will be removed from the earth before the tribulation begins. It will become the bride of Christ, and we will see this bride shortly, near the end of this book. Israel will once again become God's witness on earth, 144,000 strong, sealed by the Spirit of God, and they will witness here upon the earth. Also, there will be a great company of Gentiles that will be sealed. Somewhere near the middle of the 7 year period, the king of the north, and I believe it will be Russia, will move against Israel. God will judge Russia just as he judged Sodom and Gomorrah. If you want to see that picture, you will find it in Ezekiel 38. This opens the floodgates of war. The Antichrist now begins to move, and the deception, I think, will become apparent to a great many folk. Restless mankind under the control of Satan, begins to march. The world begins to fall apart like a pear that is too ripe. The man of sin, the Antichrist, breaks his covenant with the nation of Israel.
You know, I don't know if you realize what's been going on. They tell me that about 17 years ago, China kind of broke up from this one world government kind of thing that they were doing and started doing their own thing.
Mhm.
And then it seems like the kind of, uh, you know, Trump is saying, America is, reinforcing the Monroe Doctrine,
Mhm.
taking over Greenland, Venezuela, wanting to, kidding about Canada. And basically telling Europe, Ukraine's their problem. And, leaving Russia to kind of dominate that area and China to, kind of, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't take over Taiwan without us
Yeah.
doing much. Kind of like dividing the world up into our own little segment, and you stay out of our segment.
Yeah.
I don't think people are seeing that, but that's seems to be going on
Mhm.
below the
Surface.
surface, especially after Davos, whenever they're basically told your one world
Yeah.
idea is dead. Go home. And so I think this opens up for then Russia to
Mhm.
come down. But I think I always thought it was interesting as I've studied this. It's actually I think it's Gog is Russia and Magog is is China. We
Mhm.
think we
Yeah. We
or
talked
they've
about
always said that,
Mhm.
but it's interesting to me when they talk about Gog, it's the region where, and I was going to look that up the other day, where Job went,
that. Mm.
but I think it was in Iraq, wasn't it?
I think so. I don't.
It wasn't that far north, but it talks about these people who the Gogs being
Mhm.
very brutal people, and the Ukrainians have always, and it's that region
Mhm.
of where the Donbass region
Mhm.
is the Gog region, and
Mm.
so that it's all that's part of this fulfilling prophecy to me
Mm.
is Russia gets control of the Donbass region where these brutal people who are called Gog come
Mhm.
from, and then that's where they're going to come down, and it's opening up to wink wink, it's okay
Yeah.
to take over the Middle East,
Mm. Okay, that makes sense.
or Europe, or that region, and so that kind of is I was always looking for, we've been looking for one world government government,
Mhm.
but they're going to come against they're warring against each other.
Mhm. Yeah.
Still in chapter, halfway through the tribulation, they're all going to turn against the peace is over.
Yeah.
It sounds like
Yeah.
in this, and they're going to come after. We have always thought that they're going to come after Israel, but it's kind of like they're going to come to have a world war
Mhm.
with the Antichrist, Russia and China, because they
Yeah.
or Israel. Because we learned that um, he he breathed out these frog creatures. That was one of the bowls that stirred up the hearts of these people, Gog and Magog, to come and attack Israel.
Mhm.
But to me, that's where the religious the religious Babylon has moved to
Mhm.
from uh, from Rome, as we kind of learned a couple of chapters ago. But anyway, it's kind of confusing. But it still sounds like to me that what's going on in the world, even though I've always heard that we're going to one world government, all this,
Mhm.
even though we're kind of separating into
Mhm.
three entities,
Yeah.
that um, that help will help uh, bring Russia down against Israel. But
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean that sounds plausible. I mean, I know that in the tribute, I know at least the little bit that I remember about the tribulation period is that there is a time of peace,
Right.
and then I think it's what, like halfway through
Yeah,
is when
that's
the
where
war, yeah, is where the war comes. Um, and yeah, I mean, that to me, looking at globally, I mean that looks like the most. Uh, that looks like that looks like how it would play out. They look like the best candidates to be Gog and Magog.
right.
And
And Magog can even include India and like Indonesia. You got it's a populous.
mhm,
You got those are the three most populated countries in the world
mhm,
coming the river Euphrates will be dried up and then they can come across. And but after the destruction of Babylon, I would think that the Antichrist now his seat's gonna. The reason they're coming against Jerusalem is because they're coming against the Antichrist.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody's thinking. Well, I even heard Chuck Smith the other day that that's how it's going to start off the tribulation period. No, that's how the tribulation period is going to end.
Yeah.
And then the millennial reign's going to end with another
Yeah.
battle that he called this one Harmageddon, the other one is Armageddon, and the the battle of Armageddon. This is the war of Armageddon. This one world war that's breaking out. Anyway, go ahead and read it.
Down at the bottom paragraph.
I have a tendency to comment.
No, it's good. Okay, let's see. The Mid East.
Yes.
The Mid East will become the center of world activity during this period. Babylon will be the political and economic capital of the world, and Jerusalem, also called Babylon, will be the religious capital. The Antichrist will begin in Rome, and the false prophet will begin in Jerusalem. Antichrist, when he comes to power, will rebuild Babylon. The apostate church will be destroyed by Antichrist and by the kings of the earth who will be subservient to him. Ancient Babylon on the Euphrates River will become the political and economic center of the world. If a small nation in the Mid East can turn off the spigot to stop the flow of oil and thereby bring the world to its knees, what will it be when ancient Babylon in that very area becomes again the world center? New York City will then be a whistle stop on the Tunerville trolley, or not even worth the legendary string of glass beads. Los Angeles will return to an Adobe village and no longer will be the city of angels, but a dwelling place of demons. Kind of seems like it already is.
It's not Adobe Village yet, though.
No, but a dwelling of demons.
That sort of is the encampments.
Yeah. It appears as if
They're
they.
living in teepees again.
Oh yeah, it's bad out there. It appears as if they are already beginning to move in. There we go. And this is back then when he wrote this.
In the early 70s, yeah. Well, it's come full circle. Well, I mean, that was, I don't know when the Bohemian Grove came in. Was that the late 60s, early 70s? That everybody.
I think it was
Satan worship was involved.
Yeah,
I know the daughter of the lady of the guy who started the Satan worship out there is about my age, and she, so you're, I'm thinking it was all starting to explode at that time, just like it is today.
Yeah,
I mean, that was one of the things. I don't know if you knew this, but like I showed LaRonda, I looked it up at Davos. I had to trick AI into, it was considered a conspiracy theory that they're all Satanists. So I said, "Oh, good. Tell me all the conspiracy theories." Well, there's a tapestry that they had in their main hall where they came in, and the tapestry is of Revelations, the virgin giving birth and the Satan eating the baby.
Oh wow.
They're yeah, and so it seems very satanic to me.
A little bit.
Especially if you look at this tapestry. I don't know the entire meanings because it's supposed to be through history, which and so we were talking about earlier. So Satanism is becoming more and more out there and open, and you have all these world leaders, and right there where they're entering, I think it was like where they're entering the main hall. It was the tapestry there for that they all went under. Anyway,
do that.
and so it's kind of repeating itself. It kind of had, I guess, in the 80s and 90s, we had a revival. Kind of went more underground in the 2000s, but
Yeah.
but it's like in the late 60s, early 70s. You had Satanism, and it sprang out in the Bohemian Grove, and now they're having all these things.
Well, I mean, it carried all the way up into the 90s even, because I remember the house that my parents lived in before the one that they're in now. It was the first house that we moved to when we moved to Ohio, and there had been in the cellar there had been satanic rituals done. There was pentagrams and candles, and there were animal skeletons.
Well, I'm
And
not saying that it hasn't
gone away completely, yeah,
that
but
it hasn't been going on all along.
yeah.
I mean, we
I just hadn't seen anything. It was like it would even make news during like Halloween that people needed to keep an eye on their cats because people were doing stealing people's cats and sacrificing them.
right.
And so like I remember seeing that on the news, and like
Well,
I haven't seen anything like that.
people talking about probably our leaders, were Satanists, and if we really knew what they did in their spare time, then that would be interesting.
Yeah.
If our local leaders,
Yeah.
and they were all getting in trouble for the cornbread mafia, whatever it was called. They were all dealing drugs and going to prison, spending weekends in prison.
Yeah.
But and arresting, say the county attorney arrest um, a state trooper for selling him drugs,
Oh my God.
or vice versa. I don't know. But anyway,
Go ahead. All right.
maybe we could continue reading where we're
Yes. London.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep, I already began moving in. London and other great cities of the world will become mere villages with muddy streets. Judgments from God will fall swiftly and suddenly on a God rejecting and blaspheming world. And that's heck, we've got what was it, even Hollywood not too long ago, they were doing some kind of award show, and the announcer even said, this is a godless town, and they were bragging on. And then shortly afterwards, all those fires came through, interestingly enough. When all those fires were blowing through Hollywood and all that happened shortly after that. Yeah. Um,
Well, but we covered last chapter was about the church.
Mhm.
The apostate church. We have in our church where people are they don't believe in God. They believe they're God, and which is in a way a blaspheming of God.
yeah.
That's what the Antichrist is going to do. He's going to sit in the temple of God, saying he is God, and expecting people to worship him as God. And
Yeah.
so that's not too far from we see that working its way into the church.
Mhm.
That's why that we have to be on guard for those things.
Yeah.
We're not. We're like everybody come in. We're lovey dovey. We love everybody, but we have to say, no. You can't You're not a god, and we're not going to worship you.
Yeah.
Go along your way. We don't teach that. But anyway, go ahead.
At one fell swoop, 1/4 of the population of the world will be destroyed. And at another time, 1/3 will be blotted out. Wow, a fourth and then a third.
Yes.
Na-
Yeah. If I let's say a fourth and a third was 12s, 3 and 4 is 7/12.
oh, wow.
Yes. And
Wow.
and that was with just the trumpets and the scrolls.
Yeah.
And see, one of the things we learned last chapter, to catch you up, is we learned that those were probably, we see that where man is bringing it upon himself.
Mhm.
Like the mass migration in Europe is sort of like suicide.
Mhm.
We like what's going on in our country. It's sort of we have people committing suicide.
Yeah.
Vehicular suicide.
Yeah.
But and so we see that destruction. They want the Great Reset, which basically means let's take us back to the Stone Age.
Mhm.
They through biological, so they want to, which they just said that China took from a lab in Canada, and Canada didn't stop them, a whole bunch of more viruses. And so they want to wipe out the majority of the population, and then famine. They want to, we got China and Bill Gates that
Mhm.
owns most of the farmland in the world,
Mhm.
and Ukraine is the food bowl of Europe and Africa.
Well, then you got Monsanto with the GMOs and all that stuff too.
Right. And so it's man created.
Mhm.
This is, and so God, when He pours out the bowls, He's like, "Well, that's what you can do. Let me show you what I can do. I'll wipe out the rest of them."
Yep.
Yeah, so he destroys the all of the inhabitants of the waters,
Mhm.
and same plagues that was in Egypt.
Yeah.
Basically, now that I'm wrapping my head around it, the trumpets and the um, scrolls
Mhm.
are sort of like the magicians
Mhm.
saying, "Here,
Yeah.
that here, I can do what you can do," and then God is coming back with the bowls, and then saying, "No, you can't do it the way I can. You can change this little bowl of water into blood, but not the Nile River."
Yeah.
And so he changed, so that's
Okay. Yeah.
so it helps you to understand these things. And one of the things is metatauta
Mhm.
that was there is, it's a progression.
Mhm.
We're moving through Revelations.
Mhm.
It was one of the things I talked to you about my doctor.
Yes.
That was my pastor when I surrendered.
Mhm.
One of the things he tried to say, well, he would he I don't know if he was trying to get me to think or what, but he said, well, how do you know Revelations is in order?
Mhm.
Well, it is in order, and so by the metatauta,
Mhm.
you know that these things
Mhm.
happen because
Yeah.
of things before it.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway,
Hmm.
that
Cool.
we're kind of reviewing what we've
Already gone over.
already gone over in
Okay.
Revelations here in this section.
Uh,
Nature,
nature will be nature will be afflicted. The grass and the trees of the earth, the sun, moon, and stars in the heavens. One disaster after another will fall on the earth, but the heart of man will still be unrepentant. In fact, he will defy and blaspheme the God of heaven. Then armies will march towards Israel for 3.5 years. The war will rage. It is not the battle of Armageddon, but the war of Armageddon. Millions of men will march at the time in that, or march at a time in that land. They will be engaged in a conflict there, but they will be destroyed. There will be blood up on the bridles of the horses, about 3 feet deep. That is no exaggeration. Into the horrible arena of chaos, the chaos of man's making and of Satan's scheming, comes to the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Yes, the King is coming to the earth, but before all this can take place, his church must be removed from the earth and go to be with him. Then the church will be return. Then the church will return to the earth with him when he comes to establish his kingdom. The church is not looking for the fulfillment of any of these things which we have looked at from chapter 4 through chapter 18. The church is looking for the blessed hope and the glorious appearing of our great God and Savior, Jesus Christ. We do not know the day when Christ will return. We do not even know the period in which he will return. It may be soon. It could be today. On the other hand, he may not return for 100 years or even several hundred years. No one can say with certainty. when the Lord will return for his church. Anyone who sets a date for the Lord's appearing is entirely out of order. Anyone who claims to know when the Lord will return has information that is not in the Word of God. The best that can be said today is that everything that is happening is significant. We live in a great period in the history of the world, but we can all say for sure is that our salvation is nearer than we first believed. The late Dr. Bill Anderson of Dallas, Texas, used to say, God is getting the stage all set. It looks like he's coming soon, but if he is not planning to come now, and since it would take a lot of doing to get the world in this position again, if I were the Lord, I would just come on now and take the church out of the world.
Like we were saying, so 55 years ago, the stage was set, and now the stage was set again. But it looks like that we're doing a reset.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. But maybe even more closer than we were. But
Yeah. Well, we hope he will come now, but all we know is that the terrors of the tribulation will take place after the church has been removed at the rapture. We have been given no signs by which to gauge the time of his return, but we do see the setting of the stage, and we see some very significant things happening in our day. Obviously, Western Europe is looking for a man strong enough to put the Roman Empire back together. And Antichrist is coming. They may not know it, but they are waiting for him. Also, we see great power in the north, Russia. Egypt is alive again. China was a sleeping giant that we woke up, and from that great population center, they are going to come marching out one of these days. Then the crowning scene of the setting of the stage is Israel, which is back in her land. Everything is in position. The church could be raptured out at any moment. The tribulation could begin, but it may not. We do not know the day or the hour.
and that concludes the chapter, that section verses review. And that concludes that chapter. And I hope that you've enjoyed the reading of God's word. And so, with that, we've I've kind of covered the comments already, and I think I don't know that we've had any. I think we've had some comments, but they weren't related to religious material. Somebody commented on the old uh, Saturday Night Live of whoever ran for president. I can't remember her name, but and it's so old. Oh, and then somebody tried to get me to hire them to promote the channel. I was like, that was interesting thing. I received a message from Google today. I don't know if it was spam or not, but somebody sent me a text claiming to be from Google, wanting to hire me for $250 a day.
Interesting.
I know. All I have to do is sit all day long and rate places on Google Maps as with 5 stars.
Man, I do that for $250 a day.
But anyway, so I think it's hilarious. Well, the guy had like one of his videos had like 40 views, and he had like 14 subscribers. And I'm always like, why would I trust you if you're nobody, your platform, if you're a bot? Yeah, if you're a bot. But anyway, so let's see, where am I? So, but I do encourage you to comment, ask questions wherever you can. It was nice having Philip here to ask questions as we went through, as he read, ask questions on what he was reading. And but I want you to ask questions. I want you to make comments, and I'll take up those comments and questions wherever I find them, and then we'll take them up. Watch the next Waycast, and I'll take them up on the next Waycast. If you want to remain anonymous, you can. You can. We are a 501c3 corporation, and you can find us. We are Christ Recovery Ministry. You can't see yours, but they have. We're P.O. Box 336, Berea, Kentucky 40403. The phone number is 859-339-7633. And so with that, uh, did I turn it too far that way? Is that the problem? Anyway, so contact us, and if you wish to remain anonymous, please opine. Name and town would be nice, I suppose. And with that, we have, I don't know how long we've been in here, but I'm sure the girls are getting worried.
Oh, wow, my butt's getting sore.
Yeah, and with that, oh, it does have a padded seat. But with that, we say, you'll know you'll always remain in my heart. Good night. Heather said, good podcast. And the prayer every dream comes true. And now till we meet again. Adios, horrible, have a little say. Good night, mates. And don't ever forget, you are truly loved. And with that, we say good night. There you have our show. Songs and fashions through the years.